Om Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Padam Shankaram Loka Shankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashikatau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagini Yomavat Vyapta Dehaye Yajna Murtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Jnanaika Murtaye Nirmalaya Prashantaye Lakshmina Murtaye Namaha Om Namah Pranavarthaye Shuddha Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahana Bhunaktu Sah Viryam Karavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Om Bhadram Karnebhi Shrunyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryatraha Tirairangai Shashtavagam Sastanubhi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vruddhashavaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti na Saksho Varishtanevi Swasti no Brahaspatir Dadatu Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. And he wanted to cross a fairly fast-flowing river. It's a wide river. So he got hold of a boatman to ferry him across. And then on the way, he asked the boatman, have you studied in school? So he said, no, I haven't. I only went up to 8th standard because my father was a boatman. I took over from him. I did not complete my studies. So the scholar told him, 25% of your life is wasted. Quarter of your life is wasted. After we asked him, do you know Sanskritam? He said, no, I never studied. Good God. 50% of your life, half of your life is completely wasted. After some time, we asked him, have you at least heard the Vedas? He said, no. All I hear in my boat is conversation which pertains to which movie people went to, which sari somebody was wearing. All that is all that I hear. I never heard the Veda. The scholar was very annoyed. He said, 3/4 of your life is totally wasted. So boatman didn't say anything. He kept going. After some time, he asked the scholar, do you know how to swim? He said, no, I don't know. He said, your entire 100% life is wasted because we have a leak in the boat. Nahi nahi rakshati dunkrum karane. We have all heard the sentence in Bhajagovinda. Many times one gets a thought, why should I study the Vedas? I have enough struggle in my life as it is. I have to earn money because everybody earns money. I have to earn a living. I have to provide for my family. And those who have earned some money want more money, want to know more, want to gain greater skills, want to achieve, in quotes, more things. Like our great scholar in the boat, most of the times, we stop with what we think we need without questioning it further. Why do I want to earn money? Having earned enough to provide for me, myself and my family, enough food and basic requirements, why do I want more money? Why do I want to do anything at all? We do not begin to question the need for us to do anything. Only when we do that can one prioritize what I should be focusing on and what I should be relegating to the bottom of the list. This kind of thinking does not really happen in general. Our focus is on wealth creation, satisfying certain requirements, and much of the requirements are not really requirements, but are created by marketing experts. It is not a need at all. I want to go on a world cruise. Nothing wrong with it. But one doesn't question what I am trying to achieve. I want to own the finest collection of jade in the world. Why do I want to have this collection? And also, some of the more noble people say, I want to help other people. My life should be spent with very good people. I want to help people who need help. Many times, this stems from a problem that the person individually or somebody very close to the person has suffered. I have been in the Rotary Club for many years. And if you look at the projects Rotary clubs take up or any other such organizations take up, it is usually sponsored by one of the members. And that member, for whatever reason, has undergone certain, seen very close quarters, certain suffering of people. I know one person, for example, who took up very seriously the problem of detecting hearing loss in small children and correcting them. It can be corrected. Till I later discovered that what drove him was the fact that he had a nephew in his house who had lost his hearing and was not detected. And then as the child grew up, struggled a lot. Like that, when one personally sees certain suffering, one tends to be the sponsor for such projects. But it's good. You're trying to help others who are in need of the help. Vedas recognize this need. All of them. Vedas recognize the need for people to gain wealth. Vedas recognize the need for people to have a family. Vedas recognize the need for people to gain fame, to satisfy certain desires. Vedas recognize all this. Veda does not prevent you. Veda says, you want wealth? Method. You want progeny? I will show you certain procedures by which you can gain progeny. Certain yajna. You want to fulfill any desire? Vedas does not say that desires are bad. That's something you recognize later on saying what desires do to you. Veda says you have the desire, I will show you how to fulfill that desire. Any desire. Vedas, in fact, have one large section, the initial section of the Vedas, called Karma Kanda. Like any other religious text, it tells you, do this, but don't do this. So that you can live your life correctly. We will see why to live your life correctly in a minute. What is correctly? But it also tells you that if you want to gain this end, you follow this process. It's like in a factory, you want to set up a quality standard. You want to achieve 100 ppm. You know, ppm is a measure factories use to measure parts per million. How many defects are permissible per million? And to achieve that, you have something called a procedure, operating procedure, to achieve that level of defect-free product. Like that, in life, we have the standard operating procedure available for us in the Vedas. You want wealth, you do this and this. So all the means to the end are given. You want to achieve a certain desire, it tells you how to achieve the desire. Vedas themselves tell you. So Vedas cannot be saying desires are bad by itself. This portion I've been requested to shut off my video. There goes. So this portion of the Veda, the Karma Kanda, gives you what you should do in order to gain any end. It's ways and means to gain whatever end you want to get. There's only one condition that the Vedas dictate. You live your life correctly. For people who want a child, for example, there is a yajna called Putra Kameshti Yajna. Not prescribed. And it says if you perform this yajna correctly, you will get a child. There are recorded cases. Couples who have not had a child for 15 years after marriage. And when somebody advised them and all the doctors gave up, they said, nothing we can find why you should not have a child. Somebody advised them to do the yajna. And soon after the yajna, they did have a child. There are recorded cases. So the Vedas tell you that to desire something is not a wrong thing. Only condition it lays, like I said, is that you live a life of dharma. What is a life of dharma? Simply put, this universal value called dharma, and Shastra calls it ahimsa. Ahimsa paramo dharma. Because as human beings, we have free will. We have free will because we can choose. Unlike animals, which are programmed, which simply do what they're programmed to do. As human beings, we have a choice. The simplest way to understand this is, we have a choice to decide what we eat, when we eat, where we eat, how much we eat, and how we eat. Animals are programmed. They eat what they are programmed to eat. They will not eat anything else. Even if a new diet is prescribed for a cow, saying, please don't eat grass, it is not good for your health. Or don't eat this type of grass, you only eat this type of grass. By scientists and veterinarians, they are not going to listen to them. They can't. Another scientist comes up and dietitian comes up and says, you eat only grass, that is not good enough. You need more proteins. So you please eat meat. What is the cow going to do? They simply ignore him. They can't do anything any different. Similarly, you can't tell a tiger, eating meat is papa. You cannot kill another being. Please eat only vegetables and fruits. The tiger will eat you. They are programmed. We decide what we want to eat, when we want to eat, how much we want to eat, how we want to eat. Like this, we have a choice in everything we do. To do something, to not do something, or to do it differently. Kartum, akartum, anyata kartum. That will we have. And because we have this free will, we can use that free will for our immediate as well as long-term benefit. But more often than not, because we are not very clear about what our long-term benefit is, or long-term goal is, we have only very short-term idea of what we want. Humankind tends to not just use that free will, but misuse that free will. in fact, abuse that free will. We drive our life like a crazy youngster. You've given a big Harley Davidson motorbike and not worry about brakes, not worry about other riders on the road. And drive any way he wants. And because of this misuse of our free will, there are no boundaries. Can you imagine a situation, what the word you often hear in political circles, jungle Raj. Everybody does what he or she wants to do, without caring about what happens to anybody else. Can you imagine the chaos? I can imagine, there are some islands, I'm told, where pirates go after looting all the ships they want to loot. And in such islands, you can imagine the kind of life they lead. That will what happened to us. So something has to restrain the use of the free will, or better still, the abuse or misuse of the free will. And that something is called dharma. There are many meanings of the word dharma, but in this context, that dharma means that I set a certain boundary, so that I don't go helter-skelter with my free will. I drive on the road responsibly. I'm considerate of other people on the road. I don't even honk unnecessarily, which unfortunately we don't care about in most cities in the country. I was traveling in a taxi to the airport once, and this driver was honking incessantly. So I asked him, why do you do this? He said, the safety of my passenger is paramount. I said, very good. What about the safety of the other passengers and other people on the road? Misplaced idea that if I honk, I'll be safer. That same kind of misplaced idea we also have in life. If the free will is given free rein, we will only have chaos. Like if they're on the road, there are certain rules, we follow the rules. No, I will exercise my free will and go on the wrong side of the road. We're going to create chaos. And that is called dharma. How do you define dharma? You've already seen that you can gain what you want in terms of wealth, etc., security, wealth, etc. You can gain what you want in terms of fulfilling certain desires. All this is available to us in the Veda. Only it says, except dharma has many meanings. One other thing that dharma means is doing acts of help to other people without looking at saying, what is in it for me? But another meaning for dharma is the boundaries that you impose on your own free will to avoid total chaos. So whatever you want to achieve in terms of your security, wealth, etc., called artha. And whatever you want to achieve in terms of fulfilling certain desires, called kama, and whatever you want to achieve in terms of fulfilling certain punya acts, certain acts of outreach, also called dharma, all of these have to be within the boundary of dharma. This is one condition that Vedas lay. Just so that there is some kind of discipline, some kind of rule that everybody can follow. That free will is not given free swing. Swami G used to say, it is my free will to swing my arm any way I want. But my freedom to swing my arm stops when other person's cheek come in the way. That is boundary. Vedas say that this boundary that you lay, called dharma, within which you exercise your free will, is necessary in order that society can move. So, artha, kama, and dharma as your goals all exercised within framework of dharma is what Veda prescribes. So whatever you think you want, if you follow what the Vedas tell you, the karma kanda of the Vedas, there is an assurance from the Vedas that you can gain that. Our problem is that we do not question humankind problem. I want this. We do not go beyond that, say, why do I want it? Somehow, we connect any object, any situation, any relationship, saying, if I have this, what will happen? I will be happy. Correct? If I have a big house, how happy I will be. This connection we make is a fallacious connection. Because we see somebody else has a big house. We don't know how happy or unhappy he is. But we assume that because he has a big house, how happy he must be. So if I also had a big house, I will also be happy. But you please go and spend a couple of days with him in that big house and see what problems he has. Because our goals are very short, very limited. We know that we want to be free. And to be happy is to be free. So we think, humankind in general, that if I can do what I like, that is my freedom. Doing what I like is my freedom. But think about it a little bit. Vedas ask us to think. It says, really, you've got your syntax wrong. Doing what you like is not the freedom that you're seeking. The freedom you're seeking is liking what you do. whatever you do, if you're happy with it, that is freedom, that is happiness. Not the other way around. This misunderstanding of what is freedom and what is happiness is what creates the incessant desire, incessant activity, all of which we think will give me what I want, which is happiness and freedom, but it doesn't. Again, Vedas tell you, you want this? Sure, I will show you how to get it. You do this yajna, this dhanam, this activity, you will gain it. And since Vedas are a pramana, as a means of knowledge, we accept it. But Vedas give you certain caveats. Sure, you will get this. You want wealth? Please do this yajna. But if you think wealth is going to give you unbound happiness, you're making a mistake. Any kind of sukha you can gain from any of these things, artha, kama, even dharma, is fraught with three kinds of problems. There's a problem of gaining it. All the struggle, all the effort, all of which is a means for certain pain. All of which also means that if I want to fulfill certain artha or kama or dharma, I may have to give up many other things. Again, a source of pain. So every sukha that you gain, there is pain that comes alongside. That pain is in the gaining of the sukha itself, in the enjoyment of the sukha, and in preserving the sukha. Artha is a very easy example to understand. You work very hard to gain what you think will give you happiness. A big house. And then you discover that the house has a leak. In the process of getting the big house, you've missed many other things. And then when you have got the house has a leak. That sukha is always accompanied by dukkha. So this is the first caveat Veda tells us. Please be aware that any sukha that you gain will be accompanied by dukkha. If you understand this and you still want it, it doesn't stop you. Yes, please go ahead. I will show you how to get it. The second thing it says is, whatever sukha you gain from this is temporary. You can gain any kind of sukha from any object, any relationship, any situation. It does not last. Simplest thing that happens is you get used to the sukha after there is no sukha anymore. One more thing. I remember the first time I drove to the Anekati ashram. Beautiful drive. Up the mountain, about 15, 20 kilometers. Wonderful natural beauty. And the thought that came to my mind was, I will be coming here and again. I hope I'm able to enjoy this experience of pleasure driving here again and again. It doesn't happen after the 10th time. I don't even look what I'm missing. It will happen. No sukha gained here is permanent. It's ephemeral. Again, Vedas say, if you understand this and you still want it, go ahead. And then it will tell you the third thing. That any sukha that you gain like this will lead to what is called atripti. You cannot sit back and say, wow, now I got everything. No kind of sukha. All this is there in the Vedas, the Karma Kanda. Tells you how to get this, whatever you want. Tells you that do it within dharma, bounds of dharma, and also tells you that this sukha that you gain has these kind of limitations. Be aware of them. That's okay, Swamiji. I'm quite happy to get this. At least I get some temporary sukha. I know in the early days, one of the young students came and asked me, Swamiji, at least I get some sukha, no? Then I will go and look for something else, I get some more sukha. I go somewhere, get some more sukha. Okay, absolutely fine. Shastra says, go ahead and do that. But remember these three things. And it says, do it within dharma. One fact is that if everybody operates total free will any way he or she wants, they can never be in order. There's another very big reason why it says that you must work within dharma. See what happens. What you are trying to do is to gain what you think is sukha from certain activities and certain achievements. Now, dharma is what? When, as beings, we know what we want others to do with us. I don't want anybody to hurt me. Any being to hurt me, physically, abusively, intellectually, emotionally, in any way. If that is so, that is 50% of dharma. I don't want anybody to create a problem for me by hurting me, by stealing from me, by hitting me, by abusing me. That is only 50% of dharma, which everybody follows. Now, when you recognize, as human beings, we recognize that other beings also want the same thing. If I want it, so does the other person or the other being. That 50%, if you forget, you are never working within bounds of dharma. Very simple definition of ahimsa as a paramo dharma is encapsulated in this sentence in the Bible. Do unto others what you have them do unto you. This understanding of dharma, and this is a special capacity for human beings. We know that other beings, whether it's an ant or another human being, they don't want to get hurt, just as I don't want to get hurt. Swami Ji, you're laying so many conditions. How am I going to regain any kind of sukha in this world? I know I want happiness, I want sukha, that much I know. How am I going to get it? All right. If sukha is what you want, and Sakshat Bhagavan comes and says, okay, I'll give you sukha, but it is going to be only between 7:38 and 8:22 every morning. Are you okay with it? Rest of the day, I make no commitment. Bhagavan, how can I survive with that? I need sukha more. What we want is that happiness which is unbound. If it is going to be unbound happiness, not bound by time, not bound by place, not bound by any vastu, then am I going to get it by doing something all the time, which is what Karmakanda specifies? No. One day I will recognize that the kind of happiness I'm seeking is nastakritat kritena. Nasti akritat kritena. Nasti akritat. That which cannot be created. If it is created, it's limited. It is not unbound. And that unbound happiness that I'm seeking, which cannot be created by doing something. Any doing will only produce a limited result. The day I recognize this, then it becomes clear that that which I am seeking, that which every human being is seeking, that unbound happiness, is not going to be got by doing. I will have to do some things that are my duty to do anyway. But if I'm to gain that unbound happiness, it is not going to come from doing. Nastyakrita kritena. Nasti akrita kritena. By doing that which is to be gained, which is not created. Any created will be limited. What I'm looking for is unbound happiness. Such a person, when he recognizes that, can be called a wise person. What about all the others? Shankaracharya calls them Mudaha. Because you have not thought it through and not recognized what you're looking for. Parikshya lokan karmachitan brahmanaha nirveda mayat nastakritat kritena. That Brahmana here means wise man, having struggled in this jagat, been a brahmachari, been a grahastha, got married, gone through all the pains and pleasures, worked very hard to gain certain ends, certain artha, certain kama, certain dharma, looks back and says, look, there is a problem here. That which is uncreated, nastakrita, kritena na labhyate. I cannot gain by doing. So where am I going to get it? If this is the objective of human beings, to gain that unbound, unlimited happiness. And if it's not going to come from any external source, it is not going to come from any activity based on external source, how am I ever going to gain it? Do I give up? Do I say this is a pipe dream, an utopia which is not possible? Shastra says it is possible. All this we've seen the Karma Kanda saying you want to get Artha, Kama, Dharma, everything you can get by following whatever is prescribed, by working within bounds of Dharma. There is a second portion of Veda called Vedanta, the Vedasya Anta, Vedanam Anta, the end of all Vedas, end portion of all Vedas. Vedanta consisting of Upanishads, which talks about how to search for and understand the means for getting this unlimited happiness. What is clear from all this analysis is that it is not going to come from external sources. It is not going to come from a doing. We will look at the doing in a little more detail at some point of time. It is possible only from the fact that I am Ananda Swarupa. I am the source of happiness, not any of these things. That I have to be the very source of the happiness, should be the very happiness. So what do people do? Most people at some point will give up. We'll say, I don't understand all this. I have to look after my family. I have to gain wealth. I have to gain this. I have to satisfy my own self. Therefore, I have to gain certain achievements. Let me focus on that. So whatever I have to do that, I will continue to do that. But this man, the wise man, who has done the pariksha of whatever the Jagat, the universe can give us, does not stop there. Only very few people will pursue it further. And that includes all of you. They will say there must be a method, and since it is written in the Vedas that it's possible, but I don't understand. It's possible because I have to be the very Ananda, very happiness. But how the heck? I am source of all kinds of difficulties, all kinds of pain, all kinds of grief. How can I be the source of unlimited happiness? I want to find out. So what does that wise man do? Tad Vijnanartham. To know how to do this. That Nastyakritakritena, that which is uncreated, that which cannot be obtained by external means. How do I find out? Tad Vijnanartham. To understand that, to gain that. Gurumeva abhigache. He goes to Guru. Here also what happens is, everybody makes an attempt to understand. So the first point of contact very often is the parents. Ask the parents. Unfortunately, most parents themselves don't know. So they are not the guru that they can help them. There are parents who will do that. Chandogya Upanishad is a dialogue between father and son. And the father teaches the son. There are many such examples. But in most cases, it doesn't work. Because the parents themselves don't know. He goes to maybe religious teachers. But even religious teachers will give you some prescription. Some of them might say, give up all desires. We've just seen that Veda doesn't tell you to give up all desires. Veda says understand. That also doesn't work. So what does he do? In most cases, when such questions come to the mind of the people, even thinking people, after making a few attempts, give up and go back to the life of a samsari. A few who are persistent, who are committed to learning this, and who have adequate punya behind them. Now you understand why dharma becomes important. That adequate punya that should be there in your bank is what leads him tat vijnanartham gurumeva abhigaccheti. What kind of guru? And how should you approach the guru? That guru, he says, is Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Vijnanartham Gurumeva Abhigaccheti Samitpanihi Shrotriyam Brahmanishtam. Many of you have done this Mundaka Upanishad when we've gone through this in great detail. So you go to that guru who is a Shrotriya, who has understood this knowledge, or at least gone to a guru who has taught him. So he had a guru who taught him. How did that guru know? He had another guru. That guru had another guru. That guru had another guru. So each guru becomes a shishya, becomes a guru. And goes on and on. Eventually, only Ishvara is left. That knowledge has come from a source which is called Apaurusheya. All the Vedas, including the Upanishad, are called Apaurusheya. It is not come from any human mind. Because you have this process. You have to learn it from a guru, who has learned from guru, who has learned from guru, who has learned from guru. It has to go back to Ishvara. Such a guru, this wise man approaches Samit Panihi. Pani is hand, with Samit in his hand. Samit is the small twigs we use in the yajna. Indicating that you go to the guru with an attitude of saying, I want to know, because I have examined all this. And whatever I thought I knew is not working. So I want to know. Please teach me. Shishyasteham swadimam tam prapantam. Arjuna says to Bhagavan Krishna when he wants to learn, take me as a shishya. I come with an open mind to understand this. That which is akritaha, kritena na labhyate. Please tell me, how do I gain? With the right attitude to a good identified guru as prescribed, one goes to learn. Every Upanishad without exception, has an answer to this question. As does this Upanishad called Kaivalya Upanishad, Kevalasya Bhavam, which we will examine, continue to examine tomorrow. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnameva Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.